Welcome. The square of a number is obtained by multiplying the number by itself. The sign for squaring a number is usually represented by a small raised 2 placed to the upper right of the number. What this means is that when I multiply a number by itself, the answer is the square of the original number. Example, the square of 5 is written as 5 raised to power 2, which is the same thing as 5 times 5, which gives us 25. In the same vein, 1 square is 1 times 1, which is equal to 1. 2 raised to power 2 is equal to 2 times 2, which is equal to 4. 3 square equals 3 times 3, which is equal to 9. 4 square equals 4 times 4, which is equal to 16. 5 square equals 5 times 5, which is equal to 25. 6 square equals 6 times 6, which is equal to 36. 7 square equals 7 times 7, which is equal to 49. 8 square equals 8 times 8, which is equal to 64. 9 square equals 9 times 9, which is equal to 81. 10 square equals 10 times 10, which is equal to 100. 15 square equals 15 times 15, which is equal to 225. 20 square equals 20 times 20, which is equal to 400. 23 square equals 23 times 23, which is equal to 529. So anytime we are asked to find the square of a number, simply multiply that number by itself. The answer gives the square of that number. The square root, on the other hand, is the value that, when multiplied by itself, gives the original number. It is essentially the opposite operation of squaring a number. The sign for square root that's the square root sign. What we are saying here is that the square root of a number is the opposite. 2 square equals 2 times 2, which is equal to 4. It means the square root of 4 is 2. That is what this means, right? It's essentially the opposite operation of squaring a number. Since 4 square equals 4 times 4, which is 16, it means that the square root of 16 will give us 4. Is essentially the opposite of squaring a number. So square root of 16 is 4. Square root of 49 is 7. Square root of 225 is 15. Square root of 400 is 20. Square root of 625 is 25. Square root of 529 is 23. So how can we find a square root of a number without using a calculator? We can find that by following the steps. Number 1, express that number as a product of its prime factors. So the first thing you would do is to express that number as a product of its prime factors. The second step here is pick one factor from every 2 same factors and multiply to get the square root. So you will look out for 2 factors that are the same and pick one from there, right? You will keep picking until you get to the end, and then you will multiply to get the answer. Example 1. What is the square root of 225? The first thing we will do is to express 225 as a product of its prime factors, as seen below. Once this is done, we look for the same factors and pick one. For the first 2 factors that are the same, we have 3 and 3, we pick one. We have 5 and 5, we pick one. When we multiply 3 times 5, we have 15. So the square root of 225 is 15. Example 2. What is the square root of 400? First of all, we will express 400 as a product of its prime factors. That gives us 400 is equal to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 5. Among the first two factors, we will take 1, 2. Among the second and the third, we will take 1. And among 5 and 5, we will take 1. So we will have that the square root of 400 equals 2 times 2 times 5. 2 times 2 times 5 is equal to 20. So the square root of 400 is 20. Using the same method, please solve the following. Ensure you do not use calculator. Please solve, snap and send.